Hey there, friends. Welcome back to another episode of For All the Lonely Souls. My name is Erica, and today's episode is the very first book review episode. I'm going to start sharing a lot of the books that I've been reading. I am a pretty fast reader. I love to read. It's one of my favorite activities, and I've dedicated time in my life every day to read. Some weeks it will take me over a week or two to complete a book because I'm really thoughtful about it and trying to work my way through it. And other weeks I'm pushing 3-4 books. So it just depends, but I'm always trying to find the best way to connect with you and give you the best feedback, really great thoughts from other people, because your life might be busier. You might not have time to sit down and read, or you just might not be a reader, but that doesn't mean that the content or the thoughts within the book aren't valuable to you. So whether you choose to read this or not, listen to this on audiobooks, connect with him on another form of social media, or you just are hearing these thoughts to internalize them for yourself now, this is the perfect episode for you. So a little bit about this book. He dives into letting go of expectations and leading towards a life that is full of connection and inspiration for yourself and for everyone else involved. He touches on a lot of really deep situations that happen in his life that did not feel like there was any positive outcome from it. So I'm not going to spoil any stories because every story he shares has a deeper connection and meaning within it. And it's very, very relatable to each of us individually as well as people that you know. I was reading through it and thinking, ooh, I know somebody like this. I know somebody that this has happened to. Oh my God, this happened to me a year ago. All very similar things. And it's nice to feel that connection. So he does touch on how we're all responsible for ourselves and the way that we see the world, the way that we see things, regardless of what anybody else implies on us. We are our own leader. We write our own story. And it's up to us to live a life that we want to live, that we are proud of, regardless of anybody else's thoughts or perceptions about you as a person. Every decision is truly up to us. And many things that happen in life we have to go through in order for us to learn it. There are times, seriously, when Jared will say something to me, and then 4, 5, 6 months go down the line, and I say, you were right. You were right. But I needed to experience for myself. And he's done that with me too for various reasons. And there are other people in our lives where we might have said something to, but ultimately we each make a decision that is best for us in that moment. And sometimes it takes us longer to even notice that we have a moment to make a decision. But his connections are really awesome. So back to Humble. He helped create this book. He created this book to help remind every single person that's reading it or listening that you can truly transform those challenges that you have going on in your life with a new perspective. Yes, what you're going through sucks. Yes, the shit you deal with seems unfair. Yes, it was unexpected and life was going great and it could have been a different way or you could have worked through it. But stuff happens in life and it is up to us to look at that situation, take it for what it's worth, and grow from it and move on. Because the longer you sit in it, the harder it is to pull yourself out. The longer you dwell, the longer you compare, the longer you wish it would have been a different way, the more of your life that you have to live in a way that makes you really, really happy is just slowly disappearing. So here are a couple other things that he touches on. He talks about things like auditing negative, toxic people that are in your life and loving those people from a distance. So either shutting them out on purpose or just letting things fade away and knowing in your heart that you love them and want what's best for them, but no contact or minimal contact is best for your being. Some of the stories he shares in this book are stories of being the bad guy in some situations, and other ones are him being the good guy in situations, and talking about how necessarily they aren't bad or good. So a lot of additional perspective. He talks about how when we isolate ourselves from others, what that can do to our mental health and what causes us to isolate ourselves from other people, whether that's when we're kids and being bullied or poked and prodded by siblings, or He talks a lot about self-awareness too. This is an exact quote from the book. He said, "Society, culture, and all the people you care about will try to make decisions for you, accidentally reinforcing their own desires for your conformity." People believe what they want to believe. Some people believe that you go to school as a child, you grow up, you go to college or any form of after schooling, then you go and get your job, you get married, you have kids, you live in a house, then your kids get married. It's a whole process of just the same cycle, and then you die. And there's no shame if that's how you feel your life is. Everyone is different, everyone perceives life differently, and that's fine. However, I am not somebody who sees it that way. I see that you have an opportunity because, first off, you're alive, you're a human in this lifetime with the internet to have access to any human being in the world and make a genuine connection. And at the same time, you can decide to live a life for yourself because we live in a place in the world where we can make those choices for ourselves. So I wanted more out of life. And when I heard this quote in the book, thinking, okay, well, society's telling me one thing. Culture is telling me that, we shouldn't take time off. We should dedicate our time to, working and after, it's so funny, I'm about to say after school, but after work events that we need to go to, whether it's for networking or professional development or whatever. We should be running around doing things, always taking care of others, always putting our job first, always putting ourselves last or just not even in the picture. It's true. Nobody really talks about truly taking time for yourself. There's mental health days, but one mental health day a year does nothing for your life. You need time every single day, even if it's 10 minutes, to give to yourself to give back to yourself. I talk to Jared about this all the time. I'm always telling him, you need to take more time for yourself. He's been really stressed about a lot of things in his life. And when stress takes over, you put yourself last because there's everything else that you need to focus on. But taking care of yourself tends to be not there. So society telling us one thing, culture telling us another, and then you also have people in your life who you do care about, but wanting what's best for you because they believe that it's safe. It's the safest option to take, so do that. And anything that is risky is just out of the picture. Here are a few final things that I really feel can benefit anybody. If you've stuck with me this long, here are a couple. So here are a few last things that really stuck out to me. He talks about growing through discomfort, giving yourself more credit, walking to the beat of your own drum, which then at the price of doing that creates loneliness, which I can definitely create a connecting story to, of when I was doing Paper Flowers, which seriously was 2 weeks ago, not that long, of when I stopped, 3 weeks ago maybe. I felt like I was going to be doing some. We truly do all have a role to play. He talks about how sharing your journey and your successes and your struggles, they'll help you understand yourself and then support everyone else along the way. This has been something I've been going back to, of how much benefit it is to give back to yourself, because then it is fully reflected back towards everyone else. If you're feeling like you're struggling, if you feel like you haven't had a moment to breathe, if you feel like you're losing yourself, those are really good signs to give back to you, and whatever way that means. The only way that you will be able to regain that is if you give yourself some love. If you were anybody else in the world and you saw, especially if you're a very empathetic, kind human being, which I'm assuming you are because you're listening on the other end, so way to go, you. If you were in the shoes of somebody else who feels all of those feelings, you know that you would want to be there to support that person. So give that to yourself. You deserve that time to know how amazing and you deserve that time. We all deserve that time. So take it. Learn to take it. No shame in taking it. No guilt in taking it. I'm going to leave this episode with a final quote directly from his book. Again, Humble the Poet. The title of this book, Things No One Else Can Teach Us. I totally recommend it. Really great book. A lot of connection. Yes. Final quote. The only way to be unapologetically authentic is to have an ever-improving clarity about who you are, what you want to do, and how that relates to the world around you. On that note, take care, my friends. Thank you again for listening. It means a lot to have you here with me today. And I'll see you guys later.